Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Omori, who's ready for some side questy stuff.
Oh,
I was going to say, it was a hard cut to where we had to go last time.
there's something out there.
Yes. But thankfully, we're so over-leveled, this thing's going to go down no problem.
No, I was talking about the actual something that we saw a glimpse of.
Yes.
Not this something, which is not something, but a Venus flytrap.
No, it's definitely something. It's just that it's not that something. You're thinking of the something.
When do we find out what those things are?
What, the shadowy thing?
Yeah, the black.
Give it time. The game will explain.
Well, I used the word something for a reason, because that's what the game calls it.
Yeah, we know.
Okay. So, we're back in the Sahara Desert. It's,
What was funny is like, because I was going back and watching the parts, like, you didn't talk to the man on fire at all, like, in your first visit, and like, I'm surprised you didn't, because, like, this is, I was immediately gravitated towards that guy's on fire. But if you talk to him, it's like, no, he's just naturally like this, and he's just like, you seem to be troubled. Here, I'm going to give you this. If not, if you excuse me, I must be off, and he just continues running.
I wonder if that's a reference to Planescape Torment. I don't remember the...
what is that?
Planescape Torment is one of the Baldur's Gate style games done in the Infinity Engine. So it's a Dungeons and Dragons thing in the Planescape setting. But there's a character who's just a man on fire. I don't remember the details of why he's on fire. It's one of those...
He was exposed to cosmic radiation during a space accident. And he was like 17, and they probably shouldn't have let him on, but they did anyway.
Well, I mean, Planescape is like the cosmology behind the scenes of Dungeons and Dragons, so nothing really has to make logical sense. It practically is a dream world. But, like... So, am I to assume that in life this was a very large person?
I don't know.
Oh, no.
We fell down the hole.
Ryan's doing an optional dungeon.
Yes.
Well, not so much dungeon, but like optional content that has an optional boss battle at the end of it.
Yes.
Which is funny because I didn't do this until like the very end of the game. I completely forgot like the orange oasis was even a location until the end of the game when I was like trying to do all the side quests that I still had incomplete.
He's an actual mole. Oh, I get it. Was the game released on PC first and then later on Switch and console? Or
yes.
Okay. So when the game came out on console, that's when they added a bunch of this extra stuff.
No, I think this is in the PC version.
No, yeah. The only thing that the console stuff has was like the borders that you see around the screen and the boss rush stuff at the end.
Perfect spot for a sacrifice. It's got toast in the middle of a magic circle. I'm just imagining this as one of those fucked up Skyrim choices where you can sacrifice a companion to one of the Daedra. Ugh.
Wait, you can do that in Skyrim?
You're not terribly far off.
Well, the thing about the Daedric quests in the Elder Scrolls is that there are a few of them that you do for Daedra who are less morally dubious, and you'll feel alright doing those, but then most of the Daedra are incredibly fucked up. One of the Daedra requires you to murder someone that you've brought along as a companion, and then to murder her entire cult, because Daedra. And if you do that, you get the Daedric artifact for that quest. But like... now I'm just picturing Toast Daedra. But no. You're actually like just picking up actual bread and sacrificing it on an altar. Which raises an interesting question. If toast is made of dead people in this dream world, what is bread made out of?
Living people.
Flesh.
No, I mean, like, if you become toast when you die, what does bread become when you toast it?
Toast.
Fair enough.
What a stupid question.
Well, I mean, if you put... I was thinking more like, wow, what if I put this bread in a toaster and it pops out as a person? That would be weird.
Now that would just be silly, Lewis.
We live in the real world.
This is a serious game.
Look, we just fought a buffed up planet Pluto. Don't tell him he's not a planet.
That's actually true. Pluto's huge. It's not an actual planet, but it's huge. Comparatively speaking.
That is a good point. Like, people are like, oh man, Pluto's so small. Why are you so small? And then this gives Pluto self-esteem issues, and he has to put down that he's much larger in mass size than he is on his dwarf planet dating app.
Dude,
why is one of those?
He has like the angry copy pasta is just kind of going through it.
Yeah, it seems like he's. It looks like.
Oh no, sorry, it's creepy pasta. I'm sorry,
that's
like
his name?
yeah, like it's a different enemy, and then there's copy pasta and there's creepy pasta.
Oh man,
I fucking hate the internet, dude.
The internet's poisoned my brain. I will never be able to say apply liberally normally without having to try really, really hard not to go apply wibbly.
Okay, so I am going to actually look up Omocat. Who made this game? Let's see.
Well, the thing is, Omori started as a webcomic.
Really?
It's there are intricacies in the webcomic that kind of bleed over into this game, but for all intents and purposes, the Omori of that comic and the Omori of this game are two different characters.
Yeah, because I would imagine the Omori of the game, of the comic, speaks and stuff, right?
They're also significantly older. They're like higher end teenager. Truer shut in. They also deal with a little more mature subject matters in regards to like the personal tastes of the character. And it's not a very long webcomic series, and by that, like, it's not even it's borderline a comic. It's more like single panel like updates. You know, like Brawl in the Family and that sort of shit.
Apparently, it was initially planned as a graphic novel, but they switched over to video games partway through.
Yeah.
That's fascinating to me, because obviously there's crossover between comic fans and video game fans, but it's not like a switch in medium that you would immediately think of. Like, it's not like, oh, we were planning this as a movie, but it makes more sense for it to be a miniseries. You know, it's it requires a completely different set of skills to make a webcomic than to make a video game. I shouldn't say completely different, because there's obviously like the art and writing elements transfer over, but you know, coding, music, you know, game design, level design, all that stuff is not something that you have to deal with in a comic. So I find that fascinating.
I just realized the pasta is made of the same thing bread is.
Yeah.
Huh.
Delicious. Carbs. Best food group. Don't listen to what they say. You should have more of them in your life right now.
Who's telling you that carbs are unhealthy? I just want names.
That is kind of a silly goddamn fad, though.
I mean, wait, are we supposed to like carbs now? I thought that we needed to have like low carb, high protein now, or
Look. The average American gets way too much protein. We do not need to worry about a protein. Unless you're actually an athlete and do need to worry about your protein. Anyway, let's see.
Isn't that like keto though? Like you're supposed to keto.
Keto is a dumbass diet that is a dumbass diet fad that doesn't even do keto, because actual keto is a medical diet that requires way stricter thing than any like fad keto diet will ever go to, because it's miserable. Actual keto is miserable.
No, but that means it's working.
Listen, beauty is pain, all right?
It's something you do to deal with a health problem. It's not something you do to lose weight.
It's like the worse the medicine tastes, the better it works. So the worse the exercising or the routine feels, the better it is for you. I cracked the code.
The point is, if you are on like the kind of keto diet that you're reading about online, okay, you're not on an actual keto diet that causes ketosis or whatever it's called to happen. You are just on a diet.
I remember when I worked at the bookstore, we had so many of the like keto, paleo, whatever diet books all the time, and they're a pain in the ass to sort because they're really, really heavy, and they all have 5 authors. So what order do you put them on a bookshelf? I don't fucking know.
Paleo is even dumber, although possibly more functional.
Well, paleo, if I remember correctly, is like, oh, people didn't get fat in caveman times, so you should eat like caveman eat.
The reason they didn't get fat during caveman times is because they didn't have enough food and they were constantly active. Those two things together, they kind of preclude getting fat, but that's not because of what they were eating or how they were eating it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like, if caveman me, like, caveman ancestor Ted saw me right now and was like, you have a roof over your head and all the food you could eat, you're doing pretty great. And he'd be like, you want to eat like me? You're a moron.
I just got the image of like Caveman Ted still doing caveman commentaries with Caveman John Lewis and Ryan.
What, we just staring at what rock painting? It's just like,
yeah, it's just staring at cave paintings.
Woolly Mammoth drawing 06 bad. Ruin Woolly Mammoth series.
Caveman Lewis somehow managed just to fit Morrowind into the discussion. It's like, how does that possible?
Well, you know, the Elder Scrolls, it's not, the cave paintings just aren't good until you actually just mod them. That's the secret.
Wait, so we didn't have to fight that one?
Papa Chip has nothing to do with your ritual sacrificing. So here's the thing. You don't need to do all this. If you know the numbers beforehand, you can just go into the safe whenever.
Oh.
But like, this is how you're supposed to solve it yourself, is by manually taking these objects and put them in the summoning circle.
Oh, I think that's how you... I think Super Paper Mario lets you do that as well.
Do you want to sacrifice the stray cat? This is messed up. What? What?
Spookums.
I don't think you were supposed to do that.
You weren't supposed to do that.
The fuck?
It's
It's a hush puppy. Oh, I get it.
Things just got dark.
Yes.
Very dark.
To the point where I can't even see the battle very well.
So the thing is, though, is that making Aubrey angry is like a pretty standard play in terms of gameplay because Aubrey is your
Dude,
power
she's
hitter
angry
for
in
all
like
things considered.
all my thumbnails.
At this point in the game, though, because after you play certain key moments in the story, your follow-up attacks for all your friends will get upgrades. And by this point, if you do a regular attack with Aubrey and you choose look at Kel will say something that will provoke Aubrey, but it will not only make her angry, it actually makes her enraged. And both her and Kel get an attack boost.
That's clever and depressing.
The problem is that both Aubrey and Kel become enraged when you really only want Aubrey to be enraged. Unless you're doing... Oh, no, because the Kel nuke requires Kel to be happy.
So, Hero is your healer type character.
Yeah.
And Omori is your jack of all trades character, right? What does Kel do?
Kel is the speedster. And he also has his own share of buffs. And debuffs for the party, but he is mainly the speed type character. He is also, like, again, if you play your cards right, he can be like the nuke, because he has specific maneuvers and combinations that will do absurd amount of damage to anything in the game. In fact, it's considered like it's a cheese strat, basically. Like, if you really don't feel like putting any effort into any encounter in the game, and this is including the game super bosses, You're using the Kel nuke strat.
Is that like mostly a late game thing, or
No, you can do it as soon as you have run and gun, which allows Kel to attack based off his speed stat and not as an actual attack power. The coffee item, which you can get an unlimited amount of as soon as Otherworld, which is like the second area of the game.
Okay.
And all you have to do is make him happy, like emotionally, which is pretty easy to do.
That's interesting. It's funny how these sorts of rogue-ish characters work out in games, because often, a lot of the times they're just straight up terrible, because speed is a weird stat in many RPGs, because often it's like, okay, you go first, but a lot of times that doesn't matter. The main thing that going first will be good for is either healing someone before they die or applying a buff before like the other players attack or get hit or whatever. But if your speed rogue character doesn't learn those kinds of support moves, then they're just attacking for bad damage before everybody else does, which isn't great. So it's always interesting when the rogue characters actually do end up fulfilling their role, like, and actually being useful, because of their speed and whatnot. It just also seems like in this instance it was more unintentional how it ended up playing out.
Hang on, question. Did you have to actually sacrifice this thing, or could you just pick it up and look at the number on the table?
You could, yes.
Oh.
And then put it back and then just write the number down.
Huh.
But I figured I'd show out the fights anyway.
You're a monster.
Experience points.
It's interesting because it means that you can leave the potentially hardest battle unfought.
Yep.
I mean, again, to say again, you can leave all the battles unfought if you just know the number off the top of your head.
Oh,
You can immediately go to the safe.
The real winning move is to pick up each item, write it down in your notebook, and then put the item back.
Yeah, there you go. It's tedious, but yeah, that is a play.
So the real reason we're sacrificing all these pure innocent foods is because we're monsters.
Yeah, pretty much.
Took you that long to figure it out?
Okay, let's see. Okay.
Right in the heart.
Yeah, that's how the game classifies critical hits.
Wow.
Which is, I guess,
headbutt that oven.
It's like don't stick your head in the oven. Why'd you put your head in the oven and give it a good whiff?
This boss fight theme didn't have to go so hard. This is an oven with a mustache.
A lot of boss themes in this game go really hard.
Papa Chip was like, no, don't pick up the oatmeal cookies. No, don't pick up the oatmeal cookies. I can't look. Man, Aubrey's hand must be hurting pretty bad. She keeps punching the oven.
I mean, it could do even more if the guy was sad. He is currently happy, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure what constitutes him going happy, but...
different phases of the fight. Like, after certain HP thresholds, they'll do something that'll change their emotional state. And sometimes there are some bosses that, once they change their emotional state, they cannot be removed. Like, whatsoever.
It at least tells you when that happens, though.
Yeah, it does tell you when it happens, at least.
Peach soda. Oh,
Different emotional states also affect the EXP gains, too.
You get more XP for angry foes, I think.
Yes, they give you the most. Happy is also a little more. Normal is the same. You get less if they're sad. Because sadder enemies are easier to deal with. Like, overall. Like, being sad in this game, you take less damage, but you don't do as much, and sometimes sad enemies won't attack at all. Like, they'll just waste a turn because they're so sad.
That's depressing.
It's realistic. Like, if I'm bummed out, I don't feel like doing anything.
That doesn't make it not depressing.
No, I didn't say it wasn't that depressing. I was saying it's realistic. Like, sometimes I just can't be fucking bothered, man. Stab me in the heart? Whatever. It'll grow back.
Nope. No.
It'll grow
That's
back.
not how that works.
I'm pretty sure it'll grow back.
Okay, you work on that and tell me how it goes for you.
All right.
Deal? You see, now it just sounds like you're hyperventilating.
I walk away from the monitor and suddenly Aubrey is toast. Well, I mean, she was punching the oven, so I guess
She
that's...
came to us because you walked away from the monitor. Her blood is
But
in
this isn't
your
a toaster
hands.
oven. It's a pretty clear normal oven. So I don't know how you make,
normal.
classic box oven.
Fuck, my oven don't have mustaches.
Not with that attitude. All right.
You
Jeez.
brought Aubrey back just in time to keep her from missing out from that on that 10,000 experience.
Yep,
Good play.
that was the plan.
7/20/1969. Is the password the same every playthrough?
Yes.
Good, now I know.
Is there meaning to it, or is it just like,
As far as I'm aware, it's just numbers.
okay, I like numbers.
Yeah. Take it or leave it.